I got to see if I remember how this stuff works, ladies and gentlemen. My God, it's been a while. But welcome once again. It's Wednesday night. It's hump day night. And you're here looking at the Paranormal Portal. I'm it. I'm the portal. But I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Thank you so much for being here and being a part of the journey, as always. This will be like the most I've talked in a row in weeks, I guess. But I'm not alone, so I won't have to do all the talking, because my good friend and co-host and the big toe himself is here, Mr. Don Longbeard. How you doing?
You're full of poop.
Huh?
You're full of poop because you usually turn off my microphone. You don't.
I haven't muted you for a long time.
Well, that depends on how you assess time, I suppose.
What are you, Gandalf?
Well, if you think a parsec is time, you're foolish.
I never said a parsec is time. I
anyhow,
never said.
Here we are back again. It's been 2 weeks, hasn't it?
It has been a long time.
It's been a long time.
We had the Sasquatch roundup going on.
Yep.
In Spokane Valley, and that was a great time. And thank you.
Chucky Danger came out. We met Chucky Danger.
We did, and Pam. Yeah, it was great to meet both of you guys.
Pam, yeah, it was nice to see her again.
Pam we've seen before, but it was good to meet Chucky. Thanks for coming, Chucky. That was awesome.
Yep.
You see the D-hole track back there?
Oh, is it up?
It's right back on the wall
right
there.
Between the.
Chucky made a D-hole track for me, and it's an actual dole track, I guess. He found all of it, and I guess I can get it. Put it up so you guys can see the gift of Mr. Chucky. Gave us the dole track, the D-hole track, and he also did some Bigfoots, which Sheldon got one, Don got one, and Portal Mom got one. But this is actually a dole track, ladies and gentlemen. A D-hole.
It's official. A D-hole is a thing.
D-hole is a thing. So thank you, Chucky. This is really cool. I appreciate it so much. And thank your buddy for me, too. That's really cool.
Smoking Aces?
Yeah, the stickers are up on top there somewhere.
Smoking Aces.
Yeah.
Something or other.
So Chucky came bearing gifts, and this is it.
That's the best way to get into our graces. Smoking Guns.
There it is.
Smoking Guns Fab Shop. That's what it is. Smoking Guns Fab
Yep.
Shop.
So, yeah, we had a great time there. And then, of course, Sheldon was here at the Portal House with me
Thanks,
for...
Sugar Britches. I think so, too.
What?
It's a nice D-hole.
Glad you guys approve of the D-hole. Never can underestimate the D-hole. I don't even know what the hell that means. But then I went, of course, with Sheldon back to Minnesota and
Yep.
spent about 5 days with Portal Mom and hung out and got to see Mom again. So it was great. Portal Mom's in the chat. How you doing, Mom?
Yep.
Good to see you, as always. We had a good time just hanging out and, doing stuff, post-flood stuff, like cleaning out windows. That was fun. And it was, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was it's just stuff. I mean, but it was just nice to be home. And I did a stream for those of you that were paying attention. You joined me, and I just kind of walked you through the beach and the houses.
I was
and
there, by the way.
You were where? You were watching?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I support my Portal pal.
Well, thank you. Your Portal pal supports you too. So
More to the left.
not like that, Don. I'm not carrying nothing like that. There's limits to my support. But it's been a while, and we're finally back. It's good to be back and doing live shows again. I've missed it. However, I do need to let you know this Saturday night there'll be no live stream scheduled. However, I'm going on a ghost investigation in Spokane with Charles Howard Johnson, and
Who we met the other week.
yeah, you might have seen him from the video that I did of the Spokane Valley Sasquatch Roundup. He was there. He was one of the presenters, but just a wonderful guy, and he wrangled this investigation on Saturday night. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stream for you guys a little bit of that investigation. It might be a little later than you're used to for the Paranormal Portal, but yeah, we'll do it as soon as we can and for as long as we can. I think I'll do a members version of that as well. And that will include some actual investigation on the stream for members of the channel. But don't worry, if you're not a member, you will see it because I'll include that footage on the final video.
Eventually.
That'll be released when I can put it all together. It's like the hill keeps growing. Oh God, I need clones or something. But yeah. But anyway, that's what's coming up on Saturday night. So definitely mark your calendar and watch for that. I'll do my best to keep you guys appraised of when that's going to happen exactly. But Saturday night, there will not be a scheduled live show as normal, but I will stream live from the location. It's a hotel.
So Eric, the membership is when your name turns green.
Yep.
When your name is green, so you're good to go. It's the $2.99 super whatever.
It's the per month. It's $2.99 per month, and it really helps go a long way and help to support what we're doing. I realize that it's hard for any of us right now to put anything extra into the works, but I really appreciate those of you that can. However, those of you that can't,
sharing is caring.
Just know that you won't miss out because you will see the footage eventually. It just maybe not at the exact time as it's done. So anyway, you can thank Batman. Yeah, Batman did a bunch of gifts, gift subs.
That's right.
Or memberships, gift memberships, and as did Bad Boy. Bad Boy gave a bunch as well. So they gifted a whole bunch of subs. So I quit. Fat fingers. No worries, cons. All right. So anyway, that's just the current events. And we're just thrilled to be back and doing a regular show. I missed doing this a lot. I was sitting here with bated breath all afternoon going, is it 7 yet? Is it 7 yet? So,
and you mentioned that it's later than normal for the portal, but you have to remember that the portal used to start at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we used to do
until midnight.
Friday, Saturday streams at 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
until midnight.
Yeah.
Pacific time. So we imagine what that means wherever you may be. That'd be 2, 3 or morning. Yeah. So anyway, but that's what's coming up. Let's see. I guess, Don, all I got left, how are people doing that? You guys are making hundreds and hearts appear in my chat. Are they appearing in your chat?
No, they're not in my chat.
That's really cool. I don't know how you guys are doing it. That's really wild. Who's doing that, first of all? And how are you doing that? That's pretty wild. Nobody else is seeing this? There's like hearts floating up and
don't see it.
emojis. I don't know how the hell it's
Maybe
happening.
it's because you have yours popped out. Let me see if I can pop mine out and if it'll do the same.
Maybe, yeah. Just do the pop out.
Shot.
Keep doing the hearts. No, you're not getting them, are you?
I'm not seeing any hearts. Yeah, I'm seeing
That's
them on
crazy.
your
I
screen,
got
not
all
on
kinds
mine.
of emojis. How are you guys doing that? You guys are always
Aren't you
schooling me
just
on this stuff.
special?
I guess, but I mean, it's really nice.
I don't know how that happens.
I hope that helps with the algorithm.
Yeah, no doubt.
All of a sudden, we're like on the front page of YouTube's suggested videos because of all these emojis.
Yeah, don't know how that works.
I don't either. I have no idea, but somebody's just nerfing the hell out of it. It's great.
So
We have a sidebar option to do
sidebar
that.
Option to do it.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Well, why don't I have a sidebar?
Why doesn't Don have a sidebar option to do it? I don't know. We're just learning here, folks. This is the first time I've ever seen this on one of our live streams.
See how dumb we are.
we're not. We ain't the sharpest pencils in the drawer, but we're in the drawer. So we're like the broken little nubs that are left.
My name's Butter Knife.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
But
it's
anyway,
new with YouTube, so I wonder, is it YouTube mobile or is it on the website?
oh, maybe it is a mobile thing. Yeah, that could be.
Oh,
I
apparently
don't-
there was some things on the detector.
Apparently, you missed it. Oh, yeah. It looks what? Why is it? It really did spike there for a little bit. Not sure. It didn't say any words or nothing. But whatever it is, we're never alone here in the studio, folks. You should know that by now.
Just take that for granted. There's something else here, I'm sure.
Always doesn't always choose to let us know it's here, but
All right.
as long as
hey, shout out to Taco.
Taco.
I haven't seen Taco in a while. Taco, how you doing?
It's about time you're here, brother.
Da-da-da.
Been missing you. I've been seeing him over on Hometown Ghost Stories, though. He's hanging out over there all the time.
Sweet.
I don't know what's going on.
Ah.
No, it's good. Good to see you guys, and good to see you all again. It's wonderful to get back into the scheme of things. So I guess we probably should do some news. I got a few news stories to go over.
I wouldn't have imagined. I would have never
Every
guessed.
show, Don.
Wow.
It's time for the news. Almost like we rehearsed it.
Yeah, well,
Not really.
do you know why bears are so light on their feet?
I don't know, Don.
They only pack the bare necessities.
Oh, dear God. That's horrible.
Well, they're only here for the entertainment. They're not here for anything real.
Poor people. And they're still hitting emojis, even laughing emojis. What the hell?
Wow.
That was so far from funny. I don't understand. The people are liking it. Oh man, I must
Barbara
be.
says it was funny.
Maybe
Maggie
it's my
said it was funny.
my jaded sense of humor or
I
something.
I have my fan base.
You do. You definitely do. And they're very base.
Oh gosh.
Thank you. Sorry.
Boy, oh boy.
All right, so I guess we should get to some news because that's what this segment is. Welcome to the news desk, everybody, where we cover news that's kind of paranormal. Yeah, like I said, I haven't talked much for 2 weeks in a row, so I've said sentences, not entire dialogues, but I've curated some news stories for your interest, and hopefully you find these interesting.
Taco's so nice. He says, been too tired, haven't been anywhere for a while, but this is my first family, and
You
always
got
will
that
be
right.
my first and true family.
Don't you ever forget it.
Awesome,
That's all
awesome.
I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And don't you forget it.
And love to the family, too.
Yeah, give our love to the family, brother.
Mini
That's
Taco
perfect.
and, yeah.
Yep. All right. The whole taco bar. Just tell them we said hello.
The taco bar.
That's what you call Taco's house. It's taco bar.
You get go to the taco bar house.
All right. First article up for the news tonight is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. And the story has to do with some of the UFO stuff that's been hitting the news lately. This is an article from June 25th. U.S. government has downplayed its UFO knowledge, says Senator.
No kidding. Really?
Like, was the news? Come on.
Yeah, that's not news.
I think I knew this.
I knew
Yeah, I
this.
don't know. I think everybody knows this. But anyway, I think this is Josh Hawley was kind of going on record for this, but I might be. Yeah, I'm right.
Yeah.
Missouri Republican Josh Hawley maintains we're not getting the full picture with regard to UFO disclosure. It's certainly an interesting time for UFO enthusiasts. Earlier this month, whistleblower David Grush made the startling claim that the U.S. government has long been in possession of intact and partially intact vehicles of non-human origin.
Since 1948.
Yeah, well, yeah, even 2 years before that, there was another one.
True, yeah.
Tucker Carlson was talking about it, and I just happened to catch that. But
who's that?
Tucker Carlson.
Oh, the guy who was recently deplatformed?
Yeah, because he's getting too close to the truth or something, maybe. But anyway, he did a video of somebody did a whole compilation of Tucker Carlson's takes on UFOs, and he talks about there was 2 years before Roswell.
Yeah.
There was another crash that happened, and it was equally.
It wasn't barely funny. It was equally. I'm sorry.
Equally funny. But anyway. It sparked a renewed interest in full UFO disclosure.
Yeah.
Now, Senator Josh Hawley has weighed in on the matter by claiming that the U.S. government officials have downplayed the number of UFO cases they are aware of. The number of these is apparently huge, he told News Nation. Yeah, there's no doubt they're downplaying it. And that is something that the government has, the best I can say about it, downplayed, if not kept from the public for a long, long time. Hawley also maintains that there are many documented sightings of UFOs that are unaccounted for. I don't have any basis to evaluate them, but do some of the details that he's alleging, and they sound plausible. Yeah, sure, he said. They sound plausible based on what I've seen this government do in other instances.
Yep.
What? The government's not telling?
So, oddly enough, an hour ago, I was talking to a guy at work, and he started talking about Commander... I forgot his name. But anyhow, we were talking about the Tic Tac videos and all these things that have been coming up since, like, even 2001, back the 9/11.
Sure.
And then... when they started getting serious about tracking everything,
Yeah.
and they found all these things that they hadn't seen before because they raised the ceiling of the radar detection, stuff like that.
Oh.
Don't know how to exactly explain it, but and so there's just been more and more and more reports that aren't being given enough look at, but then again, we can't catch these. And that's what all these pilots are saying is we just can't catch them.
Right.
We can get them on video, but we can't stay up with them. They're gone. And this is going back. This is before the Tic Tac videos of 2014.
Oh, sure.
This goes all the way back to when they, when 9/11 happened, 2001. It's been getting worse and worse and worse. And there's nothing out there. You've got to be joking me.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt. That and the USOs, the submersible ones
yeah.
they're going like hundreds of nautical miles per hour underwater.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't know if you're a fan of Tucker Carlson or not, but he is a proponent for the whole that there's something going on here.
Oh, yeah.
And the points he was making was very, very cool, actually. He's like, we know that you cannot fly or move things fast underwater, even a bullet. You can catch a bullet, a 45 with your hand at 50 feet in the water. It just goes so slow. The water slows it down, but these things are going hundreds of nautical miles an hour underwater, which is way faster. So how are they doing that? And that's a great point. But anyway, some really cool information there. Thank you. Thank you, Lucky Gypsy.
Oh, that didn't even show up on my screen. Oh, there it is.
There it is. It came...
Ugh.
I'm kind of having after coming home, it's like the pollen up here is just killing me again.
4chan. Wow, I haven't even thought of 4chan in like years.
I've never even visited 4chan or 8chan or any of the chans. I don't know. I've heard of them, obviously, but yeah.
Well, Chucky Danger says the 4chan leaker has some nifty info. Yeah, and I'm sure they do.
Sure.
But like I said, I haven't even looked at 4chan and
no,
because it got absolutely nuts. So anyhow,
I like Tucker Carlson much more now that he's not stuck in with the national news network being a talking head. He does his own podcast. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, I think he's untethered. So that's why I think what he's doing is very powerful.
Right.
And take it or leave it. You can, like or dislike, and this isn't a political show, so I don't deal with political topics on the show, but I mean, if he's pushing for a more clear narrative on this, then I think he's a friend to all of us,
right.
because, we need those bigger voices doing that, even Joe Rogan and other people,
Right.
On both sides of political ideologies. So, and the in-betweens, which is where actually most people lie. But anyway.
And there's a bunch of people that lie in between.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
Uh-huh.
I see that.
Uh-huh.
All right.
And we also got on the subject of Corey Good and David Wilcock, too. So, but we'll leave that one alone.
I don't think we need to talk about any blue avians tonight, Don.
Ah, dang it.
Nope. They're not on my roster of conversation. They've kind of just fallen into obscurity, thank God.
Well,
Yeah.
if you've seen any of their news stuff, it's just what the hell?
I haven't, nor am I interested in it at all.
Yep, I don't blame you.
All right, let's get to the next article because we've got one more after this, and then we'll get back to the rest of it. What? That's right. Yeah, I saw that, Mom. Thank you. I didn't forget her. Mom just saw it too. So Mom always reminds me when I get super chats, say you got to say thank you. So thank you, Mom. I appreciate that. She does. She keeps me honest. I think it's wonderful. She'll always be my mom.
That is true.
Make sure you say thank you. Thank you. All right, here's the next article up for the news tonight. Also coming from unexplained-mysteries.com. This was a terrible.
Try again.
Shop clerk asks friend to commit robbery so he could get off of work.
That's just stupid.
Could you just rob the place so I can go home? Oh my God. What kind of work ethic is that, Don?
Well, actually, this one time I was working in the Spokane Valley, right? As a front office manager for a big hotel over there.
Uh-huh.
And I get a call at like 3:30 a.m. Hey man, we just got robbed. I'm like, Jesus, okay, so I'll be there. All right, so I get there and it's like he's just all yeah.
Sure.
Come to find out, his buddy robbed the place.
Oh no, it was an inside job.
Yeah, it was. So what he did was because we didn't have cameras at the time.
Sure.
So his buddy came in, he gave him all the money out of the drawer, and then the guy went away, and then he called me up, called the cops, and reported it as a theft, and it was just BS.
How did I got to ask? How did it come out that it was him and his buddy on an inside?
It didn't come out until after the kid was already gone. Finished his employment.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you hide the body, Don?
We took him out back. Remember when we were at the Spokane River last week? That's where we left him.
That'll do it.
No, but
okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is a shop clerk asked his friend to commit robbery, so apparently that's still going on, Don.
Yeah.
Police officers investigated the case, discovered that there was more to the robbery than it first seemed. When the Tulsa Police Department responded to a call concerning a gas station robbery on June 5th, it seemed at first glance to be an open and shut case. The clerk described how a masked man had walked into the store, pointed a gun at him, and demanded to be given all the money in the register.
Yep, sounds familiar.
CCTV footage recorded at the time even corroborated that this was indeed what had taken place. When the suspect was later identified and apprehended, however, things took a rather peculiar turn. It soon became apparent that the gas station clerk himself had asked the robber to come into the store because he was tired and needed to find an excuse to go home from work early.
That's a bit extreme.
Wow. Hey, you don't mind doing 20 years for me, do you? I need a nap. Both men, as well as a woman who was an accomplice, have since been arrested and face charges ranging from embezzlement to conspiracy to commit a felony.
A conspiracy to commit a felony?
Looks like they actually did it, though.
They actually did it. There's no conspiracy to it.
Looks like the clerk will be getting plenty of time off of work after all. Yeah, he might be working in a whole new line of work.
But it is. They would have to get him for conspiracy because he didn't actually do it. But he conspired with the person that did it, so it would be a conspiracy. Yeah.
Okay.
There you
go.
The other one's going to get strong arm, so he's going to get 5 years for the firearms period.
Well, there you go.
And that's not even including whatever it is for the
theft.
robbery.
Yeah. And did they give the money back? I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not.
A little too late.
Probably went into a pipe somewhere. I'm just thinking.
No doubt.
It doesn't smoke real well, apparently.
Why are your windows closed?
All right, next up is another article from unexplained-mysteries.com. And this has to do with a UFO sighting, apparently. Mysterious rotating lights filmed over Middletown, Ohio.
It's in Ohio, of course.
Of course it is, because this is from June 23rd, so it's a little older.
That was a couple days ago.
Yeah, witnesses reported a peculiar spinning object hovering in the sky over the city on Wednesday evening. The phenomenon, which was observed by multiple witnesses near a busy intersection at around 10:30 p.m., consisted of several bright green lights that seemed to rotate anti-clockwise or counterclockwise.
Yeah. Let's not use the correct terminology here.
Footage captured of the spectacle also shows it moving off at high speed after a few seconds. But is this evidence of extraterrestrial visitors, or is something else going on? According to Brian Simpson, president of the Cincinnati Astronomical Society, the phenomenon might not be quite what it seems. Of course, because he's an astronomer. He would know better.
Right.
I think the real test of authenticity is if you get lots of reports of the same thing, he said. Otherwise, it's probably a fake. And by lots, I want to see at least 20 different reports. This is so easy to fake off-the-shelf motion graphic software for TikTok likes. The local sheriff's office has since stated that it had received no reports of the incident, and you can check out your footage for yourself below. So it might be a scam. But is it just possible that people aren't paying attention anymore?
No.
Well, allegedly there it is.
Okay. Oh.
What? Oh, no, it's still there. They got some light flares going on there.
Those are.
Oh.
Yeah, see, no, it's not there.
Let's go back. And what is this from? Alien Lights? I don't know the channel name. UFOs is the channel, and they got 8.61 thousand subscribers.
Wow.
That's interesting. Where it takes off, I think, is most interesting. Let's get back a little bit here. There's the blur. So if we go back in slow motion, frame by frame. Okay.
Yeah, those are just reflecting lights there.
Yeah, the ones that are...
The 5 dots are what
Yep.
we're looking at,
Yeah, well, the not the 5 in the circle, the other 5. But this is when it takes off, and I think it's interesting, but it is kind of a subtle light. It's not like it's just so bright everybody would have seen it.
Right.
But I don't know.
Huh. That's pretty good.
I don't know.
If that's a fake, it's good.
The tracking is really good on this, because even those 5 other, what is it called? A parallelogram or whatever.
Okay.
Kind of in that shape. I guess they're 4 lights. But they actually move as if he's tracking that motion.
Right.
You know, like he's jerking his head at the same time they shoot off. Let's do it again.
Yeah,
so all of a sudden,
they don't stay static.
Right. So it's starting to move, and those 4 lights are starting to move, showing his lens flares.
Yep.
So I think that looks organic to me.
Either that, or he's really paying attention to details.
Yeah, I mean, he could be. It's not like it couldn't be faked, but I mean, that is really top notch as far as motion tracking and staying with the motion and placing the animation in the correct sequence to the motion. That's really takes a pretty trained eye. So this person did a hell of a job. Again, one more time, just going frame by frame. So the object starts to move right here. Yep. Boom. Yep. And it starts to move. And so now you can see the camera reaction on these 4 dots, how he turns his camera as he's trying to follow it, but it's way too fast. And I find that really interesting. There goes those 4 lights as he's rotating his camera.
Rotating, and now he's going up.
Yeah.
Rotating and up.
Right. Yep. So
that's really good.
Yeah, it is really good. It's a really good fake if it's a fake. Again, this isn't so loud of a light that everybody would notice. Most people are really have tunnel vision.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at anywhere where you see people, most of them are looking at the screen of a phone or something. Mm-hmm. And if you're driving, you're usually looking at the road. But the fact that he noticed that, yeah, I mean, it could be. It's interesting. But anyway, you be the judge. And here's the source of those lens flares right here. Those 4 lights. Yeah. That's what's mirrored. These 2 are mirrored from here to here, and these 2 from here to here. And so that's what's creating the lens flares from those. But they do shoot off at a really consistent rate, at the same rate as, well, trying to keep up at the same rate as that rotating light.
Right.
But
That was really cool.
yeah, very cool capture. Is it legit?
Ohio.
It's Ohio, so obviously it's probably real. Because everything weird happens in Ohio. But there you go, folks. I'm just breaking it down with you as I'm seeing it. I had not watched this prior to the show, so I'm sorry if my breakdown of it was a little sophomoric. But I think those are things to look at. Is what is the camera's reaction to the alleged action? You know.
Right.
So, and this person did a hell of a job. At least, if it's a fake, they did a hell of a job mimicking it. And if it's real, it looks like it's organic. You know, with that reaction. But I don't know. Maybe we'll know someday.
No, Maggie, no breaks. We don't have any breaks anymore in any of our shows.
No, do you need a break? You can take a break.
You can get a Kit Kat.
You can take a break. We'll get you. We'll be waiting here for you. Yeah, we don't do breaks anymore. Not even on the network shows.
Yep.
So anyway, just some thoughts. But if you need a break, you can certainly take one. Lots of hearts coming up. Again, thank you guys. Thanks for the hearts. Appreciate it. But this has been a production of the Paranormal Portal News. Let's get back to the rest of the show.
I had another joke, but I forgot it actually. So
That's actually funnier than your first one.
I see how
Hey, Don.
Hey, what's up?
What's red and white and falls down chimneys?
Santa.
Santa Klutz.
Santa Claus. That's good. That's good.
That's a good kid's joke.
Hey.
Kid-friendly joke, folks.
Yay.
All right.
He actually managed one.
I only know a handful, and most of them can't be done on the air, so I just never. Good to have the Paranormal Portal back. Thank you, Eric. It's good to be back, brother. It's great to be back, as a matter of fact, as we dive into yet another fun fact of the Paranormal Portal, which is the next segment we're going to get into now. And this segment, what is it? What is it, Don? What do we usually do after the news?
Take our ginkgo.
No. We're going to do...
The question of the week.
That's right. Question of the week.
I should probably close
You should probably open it.
my wrestling stuff here. Stop remembering the 80s, 70s, and 80s.
Welcome to the show, Don.
Hi, nice to see you. Question of the week. Here we go.
All right, now a special thank you to Chucky Danger.
Chucky's
he wrangled this together for me in the last couple of weeks, and I really appreciate it. And he's got a whole pocket full of other questions because he did a cool thing. He put out a kind of a survey to the chatters in their Discord and said, "Hey, what do you think? What are you guys wondering about?" And so he took all of those suggestions, and so he may be doing the next several questions of the week because he's doing a hell of a lot better job than I ever did doing them. So I appreciate that. But so Chucky pulled this together.
Wow.
And Don's going to read them, right?
About Skinwalker Ranch?
Yeah.
Oh.
At everyone.
I see it, yeah. I don't know anything about Skinwalker Ranch other than we talked to Thomas Winterton.
Yeah, it's not the question for us. It's for the Discord.
As many of you have brought up Skinwalker Ranch, the whole Uinta Basin seems to be a hot spot for paranormal of all kinds. What do you think so much activity, why do you think so much activity happens in this particular area, and why such a varied array of phenomena? Mm-hmm. And so I'd love to hear what the Daniels brothers have to say because they live there.
Yeah.
So that would be cool. But Eric the Purple Hobbit, who is in attendance, some idiots opened a portal, either interdimensional, or intentionally or accidentally. Why would anyone do such a thing is beyond me.
Yeah.
So that was a question. Some idiots opened a portal question, which would be stupid.
Yeah.
I think I agree in that case.
I would like to say that I think that not all portals are intentional.
Right.
Like some of them happen by accident. It could be a series of traumatic, energetic events that just open a gateway. But
or it could just be some stupid kids playing with the Ouija board.
yeah, exactly. And I don't know that there's a whole lot of difference between those portals.
No.
But it does seem to have an extraterrestrial element to the Uinta Basin. Anyway, but
So Brenda Joe says the Uinta Basin is just one of those places that has a huge amount of high strangeness.
Yeah.
Yes. There are probably multiple portals there. The whole truth will probably be released when Robert Bigelow dies. Oh, good point. Have watched the Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch series, and I believe that Brandon Fugel knows more than he portrays.
yeah.
Something a bit strange about that guy. Dr. Travis Taylor is a great scientist, and the rest of the staff and cast seem genuine to me.
Agreed. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, we met several of them when we were in Vernal, and
Dr. Travis, and yep.
yeah, I will say that Brandon Fugel was. There was a documentary that was done regarding the Bigelow years, and Brandon Fugel appears at the tail end of it, cloaked in shadow, like he wouldn't reveal his identity.
That's right, yeah.
But and he was talking about his involvement with it. So you're right. I think he's much more privy to what's going on there than what he says. But nonetheless, I've talked to several people both on the show and surrounding the show, and they are adamant that what you see on the show is
Absolutely, 100%.
absolutely what's going on. Like they're not staging it in any way, shape, or form. So I guess with the amount of strangeness there, they don't need to.
Yeah, they don't need to. It's happening by itself.
Yeah.
The Batman. The layer of black mixed material found when they drilled is acting like a piezoelectric battery.
Oh.
The underground water flowing through the area is refreshing any electrolyte properties. Nice. The reason digging stimulates an effect is not simulated by a shovel digging, but heavy equipment is sending compression waves through the wet medium. When they showed the material composition, vanadium was one of the most present elements, along with others known to have a piezoelectric effect. Vanadium batteries are used for storing huge amounts of power. Unlike other batteries, they can absorb and discharge full capacity almost instantly.
Wow.
Big thumbs typing on a phone, so I'm not putting the link, but look up vanadium batteries. This system is powering whatever is in the mesma or causing the plasma discharges like earthquake lights, which is a known thing. This would appear to be not limited to the ranch. I think other areas like Sedona have the same thing. This was the short version of his explanation.
Wow. Very
SIC
cool.
And his explanation.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly could be. It could be some of the effects
Right.
going on there. I don't know that it's a holistically that, but you're right. I think that those kind of things often get overlooked. That there is just properties of material that if they're in the right composition, in the right sequence of events, can spawn all kinds of crazy things that we wouldn't think of normal. But after talking with Thomas Winterton and hearing, if you listen to the podcast episode where we're surviving Skinwalker Ranch with Thomas Winterton, who was talking about some of the strangeness that he's experienced that was never on the shows. I don't think it was on the shows. I've only seen the first season, but there's some intelligence to this. There's an intelligence to this phenomenon. It's a crazy thing.
So let me define what a piezoelectric effect is. So the piezoelectric effect is a property of some crystalline materials to polarize when subjected to mechanical deformation. That's called a direct piezoelectric effect, generating a potential difference, and at the same time to deform in elastic manner when traversed by electrical current and inverse. Now, so just as an example of a piezoelectric effect, you know those lighters that shoot the little arc instead of a flint?
Yeah.
That's piezoelectric. So when you click that, basically a piece of nickel and a piece of vanadium bang together, and they create a piezoelectric spark.
Ah, okay.
So another information Don's
Sure.
always known. Sorry. So I didn't actually know it was called a piezoelectric effect until about 5 years ago, though. Ash Hermit. My completely uneducated guess is interdimensional portal or portals. and perhaps they're being observed using technology we don't have or know of yet, which could explain other oddities there. Tried to condense a whole lot of my brain noise into a few sentences. Sorry if that's silly.
Not at all.
That actually fits right in.
Yeah.
Yep. It's trying to summarize everything in your head at the same time.
Right.
Nope.
And there's no wrong answers in any of this stuff,
absolutely not.
guys. So don't be afraid to put it out there. I mean, it's all interesting.
Right. Wonder Woman 007. I don't get Skinwalker show. Just bits from YouTube and David Pilates. Pilates. I'll try to contribute if I can. So, for what it's worth, my thoughts lead to the perfect storm of natural materials in the area, surface and below. The environs in the atmosphere mixed with manipulation and exploitation from unknown origin.
Sure.
So there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are great thoughts.
Yeah.
Smoking Joe's was more of an idea for doing giveaways on our Discord. I thought
Okay.
that was kind of a neat idea. So
We'll skip that one too.
yeah,
Nice. Get paranormal companies to sponsor products.
yeah, a lot of
Skip
it's.
that.
I think that was.
Skip that.
Wait, Android might have.
Yeah, well, Android's got like paragraphs. And he comes the first words out of his fingers are spoiler alert, spoiler warning if anyone has not seen all or at least most of the show. And you plan to watch it. If you don't have kids, okay, I don't care about that. Thank you. So, anyways, based off what they've discovered in the show, I think the following two things are going on there that are at the source of all the activity. One, the object shown under the ground from the ground penetrating scans and drilling. Then it seems there's a giant satellite dish shaped object buried beneath the mesa or underground in the mesa. That would be interesting.
Right.
Based off their other measurements, it seems the satellite dish is potentially creating a magnetic field and electronic field needed for a portal. Reasonable, if that's the fact. There have been multiple craft video recorded appearing and disappearing over the area of the mesa where this mysterious object is underground, the satellite dish shaped thing. So I believe aliens are using the portal generated by the satellite dish to come to our planet from wherever they're originally from. 2. That explanation does not seem to explain the paranormal activity like poltergeist stuff, shadow figures, shape-shifting skinwalkers, direwolves, and werewolf-like bipedals. I believe the source of this phenomena is unintended side effect of the aliens creating a portal. I believe it's basically caused a weakness between dimensions there. So physical creatures and non-physical entities, shadow entities, are able to come from one dimension easier thanks to a weakened veil from the portal being generated by the alien tech under the ground.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't even know where to start unpacking that one.
well, yeah, I don't either. I mean, it's fascinating. I'd like to watch the more recent seasons, but I really liked season 1. I thought that was very well done, and I'm looking forward to them releasing seasons 2 and 3 and etc. on Netflix or somewhere.
Right.
But they haven't yet. But in the meantime, I'll be waiting because I enjoy it. I think they did a hell of a job there. You got both of them? Did you get both of these? Or did he just put another one?
Did I miss something?
I think he just added another one.
Oh, he
That's
did, yeah.
744.
Okay, yeah, 744. Yeah, that was exactly right now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Android. Why don't you join the show?
You're a little late getting your homework done. Gonna take off 2 points for tardy assignments.
You know what? Just give him 2 hours on Saturday. He'll be fine.
Okay.
So he goes on to say, also on another side note, I was around a random Twitter space. Twitter space that tagged Brandon Fugel. And because he was tagged, he joined totally unplanned and popped up on there.
Oh.
He stayed on there for over 3 freaking hours until nearly 1 a.m., just answering multiple people's questions of people he did not know. There you go.
Wow.
It's extremely clear to me, as an empath, he was extremely genuine. He went to extreme lengths to make sure every question was answered and did not take a pass on a single question, no matter how hard some tried to hit him. He's the real deal. Keep in mind, he's owned the property and did active research on it for a whole 3 years before any show was created. So there's no evidence he did this for money.
Sure, he's a billionaire anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Why would he need? Well, it'd be a great way to funnel money, that's for sure. He also had dumped literally millions into the property from purchasing the land, building the helicopter pad, building other buildings, installing extensive cameras and sensors, plus paying salaries for multiple people every year for multiple years.
Yeah.
So even if he's making money from the show, then I highly doubt he's even made his money back yet. That
Sure.
might be true.
Yep.
There's also an insider program that anyone can join for $10 a month to watch their 24/7 surveillance cameras. Wow.
Yep.
In live. That would be kind of cool.
Sure.
So they're very open on what's going on there. Well, there you go. Yeah, as long as that transparency, it just sounds like he's just being straight up transparent about it all. But what's he got to lose?
Okay, Ron the Sage says the first 3 seasons are on Discovery Plus. Yeah, that's the one thing I don't have.
I do.
Is Discovery Plus. Well, you have to watch it for me. Let me know.
Yeah, I'll write a report.
Yeah. Okay. But you're shaking your head no, Don.
Oh, you're not supposed to see that.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at the cameras.
You can't look at it.
I have it all on my screen, Don.
Cheat.
All right. Well, anyway, thank
That's
you,
like me
everybody.
doing your homework for you.
Watch the first 3 seasons on Discovery for $5. I'll give you $5.
I'll give you $5. Yeah, but that's a whole lot of time for $5.
It really does get down to that, and it's not that I couldn't possibly afford $5. And thank you, I appreciate that gesture a lot. But it's more the fact that it's just either I spend the time doing that, or I spend the time doing things for the show, like the videos I'm working on. And there's now going to be 3 of them to develop. I'm still on the first one.
All right.
And I got 2 more, one more on deck that I haven't touched yet. Mm-hmm. And then a full another one that'll be filmed on Saturday. And it's like, and then trying to put together the shows and everything else. So, I mean, I love watching television. I really do. I just have to do this, though. This is what I'm most passionate about. But thank you, Android. I appreciate that, brother. That means the world to me. And I would like it. Don't get me wrong. But I may end up getting it. It's just, when am I going to sit down and watch it? I don't know. Maybe an episode here and there would be the way, because I do take some time throughout the day. So maybe I'll look into that. All right. Maybe you guys convince me. I'll look into Discovery Plus, because there's a hell of a lot of ghost shows on there, too.
I'll see if I can't just give you my password.
Oh, got the inside track. Unless I cancel both of us. Excuse me, Don, did you move? Because it's coming up from a different location.
Well, we are thinking about it, but we also have Starlink, so it'd be coming from anywhere.
Anywhere. Don could be anywhere. He could be in your backyard right now, and
That's
you wouldn't
right.
even know it.
You wouldn't know it.
All right. That's going to conclude the Discord question of the week. Thank you again, Chucky.
Cops, especially the Vegas cops. They don't know anything. They don't know nothing.
It's okay, Don. Whatever happens there stays there.
That's right. Keep
All
it
right.
there.
All right. Let's get back to the rest of the show. Well, that's not the one I wanted to click. This was the one. Yeah, I'm a little out of practice.
Wow.
How's that for production value, Don?
Wonderful.
I redid the credits scene a little bit, too. So
The credit scene, the one at the end?
yeah, the one at the end.
Well, it's because we had so many people.
Well, no, I redid that over a period of several days because we kept getting more and more and more.
Wow,
But
that's awesome, though.
but
Almost everybody in there is green or blue.
I know we've got a mostly member chat.
That's awesome.
And no pressure on anybody, please. It's great if you're able to, or if or whatever. But please don't ever think that I mean, it's appreciated, but it's certainly not expected. So, all right, that brings up other stuff, Don, like some articles. God, it's almost 10 minutes to 8 already.
What?
Yeah, that's how the time flies here in the portal. I almost forgot about that. It is a time anomaly. So we have some articles to get through here. I've got a bunch for the Cryptid Corner. We're never going to get to all of them, but
Have the Discover Plus password.
all right.
Yeah, but the problem is I don't even know it. I have to ask somebody else about it.
That's funny because I already got Sheldon's Paramount Plus. I already got his. When he was there, he rigged that up for
Did he?
for Elijah. Yeah,
Nice.
because he wants to watch SpongeBob. So
Now we're just giving you free
I know. I just tell you, it's raining kindness around here. It's crazy. All right. What the hell am I doing now? What am I doing now?
Yeah, Jess, it was nice meeting you too.
Oh, down in Vernal?
From a.
What the hell just happened, Don? Did you have a stroke?
That's a stroke here and a stroke there.
Hey.
What?
That just didn't sound even at all appropriate.
Probably wasn't.
Probably wasn't. Let's see. All right. We're going to go to an article that we've been going through from Money Awaits. This can't be the right one.
I don't know. I wasn't here.
Is that the Glitches in the Matrix one? What the hell am I doing? Here, no.
Are you sure you remember how to do this?
No, I don't. That's the scary part, is how much I forget. Every time I have a gap from doing these shows, it's such second nature when we're doing just weekly, but when I break it up, it's like suddenly I just like stroke out and I don't remember things. This isn't it though, is it? No, this isn't the one. Hold on. I did have the foresight to take a note before I went because I was like, I got to remember where we were on this. Oh yeah, we're on number 42.
That's it. I had a stroke on my beard.
Number 42.
Number 40. You wrote it down?
Yeah, I wrote it down because I had a feeling when I shut my computer down, it was going to be problems. And what happened, Don? Problems.
Right.
I've done this too many times to know that when I walk away from these huge articles and I shut my computer down, when I open them up, even though it's supposed to remember what the hell I was doing, it didn't remember. It started right at the very beginning again. I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Nope, that's not it. So we're going to go through an article, moneyawaits.com, which is not a paranormal article or a website, but they did an aggregate scrape from Reddit on some cool paranormal glitches in the Matrix stories. So
hey, Lars Grass, do you think it's a coincidence that Jackie Robinson's baseball number was 42?
Ooh, did it get spooky in here?
Well, no. Lars Grass says, yay, 42 is my favorite number.
Well, that's the number we're on, Lars, so hopefully it's a good story. Here it is. No, that was the last one. 42, glimpse into the future. These are glitches in the Matrix moments that people wrote down or submitted to Reddit. So, number 42. My partner and I were getting in bed the other night, and he was getting in on his side, and he stopped and sat on the edge for a second.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Not for that second, Don. He looked over at me and simply smiled very lovingly. For whatever reason, there was a very quick shift, and as I was looking at him like a flash, he morphed into an older version of himself.
What?
His face had matured, but it was still absolutely him. His hair was a little longer and graying. Even his corrective lenses had changed, but were a similar style. It was only a millisecond, but it was so real.
Wow.
He was smiling at me, and it was as if I saw him 20 years from now in a similar moment. My heart almost skipped a beat. He could tell I was suddenly shaken up, but I waved it off. That was by 3RD. I don't know what that means.
Well, that's crazy, though, because, you look over and you know what you're expecting to see.
And
you know what you're going to see.
Yeah.
But it's not exactly that.
You didn't see what you thought you were going to see, but you saw something similar to what you thought you were going to see, but it wasn't quite the same. I don't even know what I just said, Don.
So I have a password for you.
Oh, yeah? Okay. All right. All right. Fair enough. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm just... I'm on the economy plan here.
Yeah. Here. I'll take pity on you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate pity. Pity can be helped.
Pity on Brent plan.
That'll work. All right, number 43. Take a picture. It'll last longer.
No.
Oh, that's a sassy line. For 5 years ago, my best friend passed unexpectedly. We had a wake for him following his service at a friend's house in the country. I'm sitting in a lawn chair just before dusk, my first drink in my hand. And there was a guy taking photos of everyone, and I happened to look over at a group with 5 guys in the back and 4 in front getting their photo taken. They were by a corner of the house about 15 to 20 yards away, and I look over to see who I might know. And in the back row on the far left was my deceased best friend, wearing a red shirt and his arms crossed with a big smile on his face. I looked down to put my drink down, looked back up, and he was gone. I said nothing that night to anyone, but it had rattled me. The next day, I called one of our friends, Keith, who had known him for many years, and I told him something was bothering me, that I had seen my friend last night. His answer chilled me to the bone. He said, "You mean over by the corner of the house, back row on the left?
Wow.
One of the guys getting their picture taken?" I said, "Yeah." He continued, in the red shirt, smiling at you, with his arms crossed. And when you look back, he was gone. I saw him too. To this day, I have no explanation, but I don't doubt that there is another plane of existence after this one, and that image has brought me peace over the years. That was by a Professional Can 189.
Sweet.
That's a cool story.
That is cool.
Yeah, I mean, of all the times when, you're just desperately missing someone, just to look up and see them, just for a moment, how healing is that? Wow. Number 44, Back to the Future.
What happened to 43? Oh, I missed it. That was 43. Wow, I'm paying attention tonight.
Speaking of glitches in the Matrix. Back to the Future. This is a story that haunts me daily. This happened in 1992, and I just graduated from high school, and I was working in a warehouse. I kind of enjoyed it and settled, thinking I'll probably retire here. Yep, I had zero ambition. I was a sad, lazy, cringe-inducing idiot. Then a new guy started, and it's a warehouse with high turnover, so nothing unusual about new guys. Yep. Everyone asked if we were related because we looked alike. He was probably late 30s, early 40s. I was 18 at the time, and he was larger. He seemed to carry himself like me, and the way he walked and spoke was similar. On his second day, we worked together in a wrapping station. What is chuckling?
Nothing.
All right. The first thing he said to me was, "You still have that magazine under your mattress?" That's what you'll chuckle about. Okay. I did. Weird, but totally normal for teen boys, I suppose. And he then said, "I know everything about you. You're worried about never getting a girlfriend." Well, I spend too much time with magazines and you might have a problem.
It might be an issue. It's a sticky issue.
It's another issue entirely. I was floored, but again, I thought I was a usual teenage thing. I mean, I wasn't the best looking guy, so I wasn't a stretch to guess. I asked him why he was saying all this stuff, and he looked at me. His expression was seared into my mind and it left an image that I see daily. He said, "I am you," and then went on to tell me everything about myself. I mean, my deepest, darkest secrets that no one knows, and he kept telling me more about myself. I asked him to be serious and how he knew all this stuff. He said, "I already told you," and used this nickname only one person ever called me. A bustled Jetta pulled up into the parking lot, and he said, Busted. Sorry. That's our girl. She is a demon who is horrible to us." I asked him, why is he with her? And he said, "She's the best we could do." When she got out, I was super grossed out. She said, "Let's go." Before he left, he stared right into my soul and said, "We deserve better. Please go to college and stop being lazy and make something out of yourself."
Wow.
The girl just kind of laughed like, "Yeah, right," and left with her. He left with her, and I never saw him again. I think I ran into a younger version of her at a friend's house years later. He introduced me and said we should hook up, and I said no. I went to college and stopped being a pathetic, lazy cringe fest. I accomplished everything I set out to do, as I always felt the need to not let him down. I know none of this makes sense. How can I explain something that I can barely understand myself? None of it makes sense whatsoever. Why would a future me get a job with me? Probably just say, "God, get us out of here."
You're freaking killing me.
I'm going back in time.
It's a looper situation.
Yeah, no kidding. He had to fill out a job application to have his references checked, right?
No, you just use your name, stupid.
Yes, I asked my manager, who was a jerk. He just told me to mind my own business and focus on my job and try to be less of a screw up.
Wow.
Well, that's all they said. Well, I don't know if I buy this. This is just like one of those way too much stories.
Right.
I don't know.
But you know what? There are stories where, future me, I had a dream of future me.
Sure. Yeah. And a dream, you could put it together.
But I mean, there's, look at the movie Looper. You know,
Yeah, it's a movie though.
Yeah, but you know what? It could be reality. You know, they've been making movies like these for years. I mean, look at the one with Jet Li. Look at, you know, all of these movies where they can go back in time and they can do these things. It's just incredible. So, but you know, I mean, I digress. You know, that would be really cool. Tell me what I'm doing wrong, 60-year-old Don, please.
Yeah, God, I mean, don't get me wrong. It would be a lovely experience to have someone go, no, don't do this.
Hey, you know what? I got a better idea. Just bring me the lotto numbers.
Chucky Danger says soft disclosure.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
how about that?
Yeah.
There you go. I don't know. It's an interesting story. I don't believe it personally. I mean, it's not impossible, I suppose, that we could have glimpses, but to go to work and have an actual conversation with your future self, you know, and to have it be such a pep talk and, well, I got to go back to hell now, do better for us because this sucks. And then he never shows up for work again. It's very strange. Anyway, my 2 cents.
I love all these old people in our chat.
Old people?
Yeah,
Why?
they're just, you know, well, they're talking about how, you know, I was 2 in 92. That was RJ Windwalker. So, okay, that's great. You know, and somebody else says, well, you know, I was, you know, born in 80. Yeah, so you're not an 80s kid. You're a 90s kid. Yeah. So, and then Brenda Joe. All you youngins, I had my son in 89, which was the year I graduated, ish. And my daughter in 94, just turned 56, blessed AF. Well, yeah,
Aww.
Absolutely you are, but you're only a few years older than us.
Yeah.
You're not that old.
Yeah. You're in good company.
You know, these people who want to be so much older than they actually are.
Yeah, don't be in a hurry. Enjoy your youth, believe me. Enjoy it. Do it better than we did it. We're the future yous.
That's my point.
It's us. You'll end up with a podcast and a YouTube show.
with a host like that.
I mean, come on. You deserve better. Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Not me. I'm old. Sugar Britches says, well, I don't know. You know, here's the thing.
Julia, they wouldn't be able to tell you the difference between you and the kids. She says, I wish I worked with kids because I feel old working with 90-year-olds.
Yeah.
when you're 4 foot nothing and weigh less than 100 pounds, love it, dear. Just love it.
Yeah. Well, I'm here to tell you that you know, you got to enjoy your life. My years are advancing, but I swear, mentally, I'm like the same 20-some-year-old or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. You know, I might be old, but I'm really immature.
It's because of Toys R Us. It's all their fault.
Could be.
Yeah.
Number 45, Kitty Power.
Is that K-I-T-T or K?
It's right here on the screen. K-I-T-T-Y.
Okay, gotcha.
I was stupidly talking on my phone while walking home one night, and I saw a man who was talking to himself near a park, and I deliberately chose to walk down another street to avoid him. He seemed really off. In the middle of my phone conversation, this orange cat came up beside me and started walking next to me. We walked in tandem for about 3 blocks. I was telling the person I was talking to on the phone how funny it was. I had this new cat friend, and suddenly the cat turned around and headed back the other way. I was going to say goodbye to my new friend when I saw that same man I'd seen earlier, and he changed his original direction and had been following me for a few blocks. But then things got even more bizarre. The cat got in between us and howled at him until he turned around and went the other way. Then the cat and I walked another block together, at which point he peeled off into a yard. I double-checked the man had disappeared, and I can't be sure that the man wished me harm, but I know I wouldn't have noticed him if it weren't for the cat. I never believed in guardian angels or anything of that sort until I had that experience.
I wouldn't call a cat a guardian angel.
I would, for sure.
Oh, what?
Oh, Don, you're getting visited.
No, I don't know where. I don't see it.
It's like right on top of me, I think.
It's on top of you.
Yeah, I'm getting the spiritual lap dance right now. So.
You better start making it rain.
Yeah, well, yeah. Let me get the pocket lint out. No, I don't know.
Cats aren't magical. They're cringy.
No, the cats are wonderful.
No, they taste great with the dry rub.
They do not. They do not. They mouse and they're snuggly and they leave hair everywhere.
Yeah, they destroy your seal around your door.
Huh? So, this is a little editorial, I think, Don.
Oh, am I not supposed to be editorializing?
I don't know. You can.
Freaking cats.
I love cats, and I know you pet the cats every time before the show. So I
was
know you
being
love the
nice
cats
that
too.
one. I was trying to catch one. I was trying to catch them all. I was trying to catch it all.
My cats don't move that quick.
Not really.
No, they're pretty lazy.
Oh, shut up, Brenda.
What'd she say?
She says black-eyed cats are coming after you, Don, with a black-eyed kid. No, go.
Well, we got a black-eyed kid story we could get to in a little bit.
That figures.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be a good night without a black-eyed kid story for you, Don. I said John.
I know.
I just saw my younger brother, John.
That might be it. I
That's where it
remind
came
me of
from.
his younger brother. And
Yeah,
that
actually
would surprise me.
Actually, in a lot of ways.
That would not surprise me at all.
He says weird stuff, too.
Maybe could there be a show of just us talking about weird stuff?
Well, that's like every show, Don.
Well,
all
at
right.
least I have a thing.
You do. Number 46. Am I sleeping or question mark? This will be the last one we'll do, and we'll get to some cryptids.
Okay, cool.
Am I sleeping or question mark? When I was 13, I moved into my brother's old bedroom. It was an extension onto the original house with an en suite. I don't know what that means. This sounds familiar, though, already. Like we've already covered this one.
It's a bathroom.
It's a bathroom? Okay. Gotcha. Well, that's a good room then. Originally, it was a tiny box room with an entrance to the attic, but my parents had extended it outwards. The attic entrance was always open with a permanent set of metal ladders angled up into it.
Hell no.
It was far larger than my old room, and I was pretty excited. Within a few weeks of moving in, I was ready to move right back to my small old room. I'd wake up in the middle of the night to see a ghostly figure staring down at me. Yeah, I'd be noping out of there. That's creepy. It had a white head like a skull and a formless black body, and it would slowly move down to the foot of my bed and stare at me until I moved, at which point it would sink into the floor. Oh, that's horrible. I thought to myself, it's just sleep paralysis, right? Furthermore, I couldn't ask my parents to move me back into my old room. I'd begged to move into my brother's room and had just gotten it all set up. So ghost or no ghost, I wasn't going to leave. I didn't really talk about it to anyone, and it gradually became less frequent over time. 8 years after I moved into my old brother's room, I got chills down my spine. At a family get-together, my brother mentioned that he used to see a sleep paralysis demon when he lived in his old room.
Ow.
When he went to give the details, he described the exact same thing I saw in the room, and I nearly swallowed my stomach. Neither of us had mentioned it to anybody else at the time it was happening, so we have no explanation for us both experiencing the same thing. Omnipresent Train wrote that one.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
That's all kinds of creepy, Don.
I think RJ just cursed me.
Why?
RJ Windwalker says, Don's going to get a knock on the door one day from a BEK little girl saying, "Hello, I'm your daughter." Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that'd be creepy.
Huh?
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. No. All of my kids are already born, thanks. And I know all of them. And that's all I'm having.
None of them have black eyes.
None of them have black eyes.
Yeah. They're fine young people.
Unless, of course, my 30-year-old son miles off to me again.
I got a sandwich for you.
Come on over here. Let me feed you.
All right. So do you want to start with the black-eyed kid story?
I don't want to start with anything. You might as well, though. Abducted by black-eyed kids? Hell no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
This is from Phantoms and Monsters, ladies and gentlemen, Lon Strickler's site.
It's good old Lon. Thanks, Lon.
He's got actually quite a few black-eyed kid stories.
He does, yeah.
And some black-eyed adult stories, too. But this is a story, again, please check out Lon's site, phantomsandmonsters.com. It's an extraordinary site full of lots of encounter stories, and including some research that he and his a team of people working in concert across the nation, and maybe even around the world, are working into researching different phenomena. It's also where you can find all of Lon's published works as well as links to his podcast, which is absolutely. Phantoms and Monsters Podcast. So
you know, him and the Waylands have been Waylands?
Yeah.
They've been working together for quite a while, and they just finally met in person.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. What's his name?
I'm just drawing a blank too.
Gosh, the guy from Fortean.
Singular Fortean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Why
know.
can't I remember his name? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank
But anyhow, he posted a picture of him and Lon like
Oh,
a couple
cool.
days ago, like
Very
a week
cool.
or two ago, I guess.
I
So
know.
yeah, they got to finally meet each other. You know, and that's another thing. I don't know how we got onto this, but you know, when we meet people, it's just such a special occasion.
Yeah.
When that happens. So I'm sorry, I digress. Go ahead.
No, it's good. I agree. It's been great when we have a chance to meet some of you, and that has been a real highlight of this whole experience is getting a chance to meet you
That's
guys.
a good question, Chucky. We'll get into that though.
What did he say?
He says, don't understand why BEKs follow old school vampire rules.
Well, is that where the legend started, though?
Yeah.
Is this our new vampire, which is basically based off of the 50s and 40s movies? Is that an amalgamation of old legends that
Right.
they just kind of pulled together? And these things, I don't think are brand new. I think they've been around a long time, but these could be the source of some of the old vampire legends.
Yeah, no doubt.
So anyway, let's take a look. This is, again, phantomsandmonsters.com. There's the nice top banner. South Dakota man possibly abducted by black-eyed kids.
No doubt.
This is a different angle, though, because, I mean, it's always been, hey, there's a knock at the door. It's 2 a.m. Who's there? It's little kids. What the hell are they doing out there? We need to use your phone. No, you can't come in because I feel terrible looking at you. And then they get pissed, and it's a real thing. And then they shut the door, and they're done. But apparently they're up in their game, Don. Now they're
Apparently
abducting
so.
people. So let's see what it says. A Deadwood, South Dakota man is approached by two black-eyed kids in front of his home. He becomes frightened, and he later sees them at his window and front door. And that's when things get weirder.
What?
Yeah, apparently weirder.
Okay.
All right. A military man, JD, went outside to have a smoke. He lives in the hills surrounding Deadwood, South Dakota. He spotted two kids walking up a hill. They stopped and looked at JD, which spooked him. They were wearing dark hoodies and looked very strange. And they turned and started to walk in JD's direction. As they approached, JD could plainly see that their eyes were completely black. Usually that's unusual because they usually keep their heads down until they get this reveal moment.
Right. Yeah.
Well, they started to cross the street, walking directly towards JD, who introduced himself to them, and they continued to advance toward him without saying a word. Frightened, he retreated into the house, and inside, he asked his wife if she heard him talking to the kids. Well, she never heard anything, and they soon went to bed. JD then noticed one of the boys outside his window. He rushed to bolt the front door, as one of them was there too. He never made it to the door. For whatever reason, he turned around and went back to the bedroom where he saw the boy standing outside his window. He went to grab his pistol and he wanted to scare them off. He assumed they were just wearing masks, and one was at the window and the other was at the door, and he was extremely scared now. The next thing he remembered was waking up in bed.
Huh.
His wife informed him that he'd been gone for an hour and a half.
Oh.
I did hear the door open and close. You weren't there, she told him. JD had left the house at about 4 a.m. and didn't return home until around 5:30 a.m.
Oh, crap.
He rose out of bed and looked at his slippers on the floor beside him. The slippers were wet and a bit muddy. There were wet spots in the hallway and bedroom floor as well, and he didn't remember anything other than seeing the black-eyed kids at the window. And then waking in his bed later. Was JD abducted by these black-eyed kids? What did they want? He contacted me a few weeks later after his encounter, and neither he nor his wife had seen the black-eyed kids since the incident. Nonetheless, JD was fearful that they would return, and he believes that they are some form of otherworldly beings, possibly extraterrestrials.
Huh.
That was from Lon, so that was directly something that was sent to Lon.
Sweet.
That's crazy. Yeah, they don't usually let themselves in,
Yeah.
but maybe they did mind control him somehow with some kind of glamour, like fairy magic, the glamour that they talk about.
Right.
Maybe they just pulled him out and made him walk out his own door. Yikes, that's horrible.
Rachel always has something interesting to say.
Oh, yeah? What did she
Rachel
say?
says, I think BEKs are topo-like. A greater presence created them to contain anti-life. The kids are an extension of some negative force that consumes the energy of the victim, funneling it to the big bad.
Ooh, that's a great take.
Wow. You know, why don't you just go write a book and scare the hell out of all of us? Gosh.
She's
Just take all those ideas and condense them down and put them in a short story format.
Rachel's like, I think I will.
That's a great idea, Don.
Well,
And
she's
if
definitely well versed enough to do
and
it.
you know what? We could peddle it for a small fee.
You're always working the angles. No, we would be happy to promote it for nothing.
Signed copies.
Yeah, we'll take
Signed
signed copies for sure.
That's reasonable.
That is reasonable. We're going to shift gears because I want to make sure to read that tonight because we don't get a lot of BEK stories here on the show.
True. Yeah,
They're not. It's not an abundant phenomena that happens really, really often. So when they come up, I like to capitalize on them. But it's just kind of an oddity that pokes its head up every once in a while, and then you don't hear anything about it for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a high degree of skepticism about black-eyed kids, and so maybe the stories don't get the traction that they should. But I think it seems to be a real phenomena of some type. I've spoken to some witnesses that have experienced them, but only in a real marginal, not in a real confrontational way.
Right.
Like they've seen black-eyed kids, but could they be just like a lot of apparitions are described as having black holes where the eyes should be. So are some people interpreting that as black-eyed kids when it's actually an apparition, a spiritual apparition? I don't know. I mean, it's anybody's guess, but when they come up, we like to have a good time with them. Because I know how much Don loves them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do, Don.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to move to Sasquatch Chronicles, and maybe we'll hit some more Phantoms and Monsters in a bit if we have time. But I wanted to definitely talk about some squatches, Don. We love squatches, right?
We love squatches.
Oh, I forgot.
What?
Can you open that wooden thing there and grab my foot?
Your foot? Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's sitting on inside of there. If you pull it open.
Yep, there it is.
Yep, gingerly, carefully. I got to show you guys what I picked up at the Spokane Valley Sasquatch Roundup.
Like cinnamon.
It smells like cinnamon. That's from the candles.
Oh, that was
There's a bunch of candles in there. I got one of these, folks. This is a Bigfoot cast, signed by Mr. Cliff Barrickman. And this is from 1982 Grays Harbor, Washington.
from my area.
Yeah, actually it is, isn't it?
Yep.
And you can see the amount of detail on this thing. It's pretty incredible. It is
Nicely
just,
cast, yeah.
this is my head, and this is a Bigfoot foot next to my head. It could kill me. It could
With
squash
one
my
little
head into a grave.
squash.
Isn't that enormous, though? Let me see. I got a slipper down.
There you go.
This is my size 11 slipper. Let me put this right here. This is my size 11 slipper. It's kind of ratty and old, but
It's comfortable.
I'm trying to get it so it's on screen. This is size 11 slipper, heel to heel, with this Sasquatch print. And you can see that's crazy big. You can see it's heel to heel right now. And that's how big a Bigfoot is. The size 11 is this slipper. And this thing is way, way bigger. So that is a Bigfoot. This is why they're called Bigfoot, ladies and gentlemen, because damn, that's a Bigfoot. Right, Don?
That's right.
So I wanted to show you guys this. I just thought this was amazing and a really, really well done. A lot of casts are much more nebulous.
Yeah.
Like you can maybe make out some toe impressions, make out the general area of the foot, the mid-tarsal hinge or break. You can make that out on some of these, but this one is pristine, and it's just one of those lucky steps that was in the
was
perfect
just
kind of
perfect,
strata
right.
to leave this perfect impression, but it's just so big. I just saw this and was like, oh my God. So I had to bring it home. But I just wanted you to see because...
Now he's jealous.
Huh? What?
Nothing. Just had to see.
I wanted you to see because a lot of times we see pictures of a Bigfoot print, and it looks like a Bigfoot.
Bigfoot print.
But now that I'm holding one, and you can see how big that is compared to my head, I mean, it's freaking enormous. Look at the detail on there. It's just incredible. All of the imprints and stuff, and down to the heel. So I wanted to showcase this a little bit, and special thanks to Cliff Barrickman. I mean, I did buy it from him, but he did sign it for me, and it was really neat to hang out with him and stuff. So this is a Bigfoot cast. So anyway, just wanted to show you. Thank you, Don.
Here, let's see. Let's see here. Hold on.
Can you? It's longer than the beard.
Is it? I don't know.
Oh yeah. You got another 4 inches on the print.
Yeah, but it had 10 inches on your head.
I never claimed I had a big head. My head is more like.
I will say you have a big
Remember,
head.
like Sigourney Weaver and the aliens? My head is like long, like the aliens. Like, from the back to the front is long, but it's pretty narrow. So somewhere that Bigfoot is watching Paranormal Portal and slapping his forehead. Dang, I should have stepped on that log.
And getting jealous because I have a longer beard.
So I just wanted you guys to see how big a Bigfoot really is, because that's freaking enormous. And it gives you an idea. I don't know how big that Bigfoot would be, but that's a 16.5-inch print, just for the record. Also, Sheldon got one, and I wanted to show you guys.
Did Sheldon get Patty?
No, he didn't. He got the Grays Harbor print as well.
Oh, did he?
Yep. But I wanted to.
Chucky get? Chucky got one too, didn't he? Did you get the Patterson? The Patty?
Did he?
I don't know. I know he got one.
So Sheldon got this one. This is I did a LiDAR scan of it. I don't know if that's showing up, but you can LiDAR scan. I'm trying to do this in real time so you guys can see, but you can rotate it around and look at all the detail and stuff. And theoretically, I could have this 3D printed, just showing that. Yes. Did you see that?
No.
Just the LiDAR scanning. If you look around.
Oh, that is so freaking cool.
Yeah, because the phone has LiDAR in it. And this is what I was talking to.
Wow.
Who's the guy? The Nick Valente. He's talking about prints in snow, and this is a LiDAR scan. So this is what a LiDAR scan would look like. And you can scan anything. And so he's talking about how hard it is to capture prints in snow. And on the podcast, and when he was on the show, we were talking about LiDAR scanning. This is LiDAR scanning. And,
that's right, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can zoom into it. And the other cool thing is with this, Don, you can actually measure it. So you can click here to up here, and it's 15 1/4, but I'm not quite all the way back.
Right.
So you can actually do measurements and stuff.
That's crazy.
Right. So if you have a phone that has LiDAR scanning, that's a great way to capture evidence if you can't cast it or anything like that. I'm kind of being random here, but this is all stuff that came up in the last couple weeks that I wanted to share with you guys. And some of it's just popping into my head suddenly here. So you're getting the random version of the Portal tonight.
Batman, he buys sucky phones. He buys iPhones.
Yeah, this is an iPhone.
It's not a Samsung.
It's a
he buys a
iPhone Pro Max 12 or whatever. Yeah. But it's got the LiDAR built into it and stuff.
It's a Pro Max.
It's a Pro Max, Don.
So, we love you.
That's right, lovey. Now, off to the pool. All right, so we're going to get to a Sasquatch story now since we've been doing this Sasquatch talking. But LiDAR is really cool.
Somebody said their next door their friend's granddad was Bela Lugosi.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, then Zach Baggins has his scrying mirror up in his museum.
Oh, let's go get it.
Let's bring it back to the family.
Let's bring it back.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, yeah, activate your LiDAR for sure. It's really handy. I mean, I've scanned entire rooms in my home.
Wow.
And you can measure, you can, click at one point and another point and get measurements. It's really freaking cool. You can scan objects.
Wow.
You could scan prints in the ground.
I guess this is why I only get cheap stuff, because I buy like $200 phones that are 3 years old. I have to wait another 3 years to get LiDAR on my phone.
Well, Don, I only had to sell one kidney. Come on. I mean, you got another one. Jeez.
Well, most people do, unless you've been abducted.
I got the Chucky got the Freeman track.
Oh,
he got
Freeman
it. Yeah,
track.
from Michael
Okay.
Freeman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome too. Yep.
Yep.
So, Yeah, but thanks so much for sharing. Yeah, you're welcome, Brenda Joe. I was really excited about that. Again, it's going to be hanging up here in the studio off camera somewhere, but I've got to build a way to hang it, much like the other ceramic Bigfoot that was made, that was sent in. I got to hang that too, and the photo. I got to get that framed.
Ceramic Bigfoot. What?
Yeah, it was a gift.
What is all this?
I showed you this stuff, Don. Man, dude, your memory. This was sent in.
Okay.
Yeah, this is by Barbara Mora.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice job.
It's
Looks
beautiful.
Great. Yeah, it's
It's
great.
beautiful. That's going to be hanging up somewhere in here when I can get a bracket to mount it with. And the image also. And then...
Well, who did this?
I
Is this like a Among Us Squatch? Is that what that is?
it's yeah,
An Among Us Squatch. Right?
Isn't that
But
cool?
it's got butt cheeks. So
Yeah.
can you see right here?
I think that was Carol, but I've got it written down because I have such a terrible memory.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, there's so
Just
much
saying.
beautiful stuff you guys sent.
Eat more fish
If any
from-
more of you have any craft ideas to hang up in the studio, again, go to paranormalportal.net. The P.O. box address is at the bottom. I'd so love to have representations of all of you. It can be a sketch, it can be a drawing, it can be a sculpture, it could be
could be a
anything. This
poem.
was 3D printed and sent in.
You can tell us, you can write us a poem about how much you love us.
A Bigfoot 3D printed. You remember that, right, Don? You do remember that, right, Don?
Only because I think I asked about it like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, Don, we got to get you on vitamins or something, man. This is scaring me.
Actually, since I've been sleeping better, my memory's getting better.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Well, good.
I can remember the deposit bag number I used last night.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get to the Sasquatch Chronicles story.
Okay.
Let's actually get to some cryptids. Here we go. All right. SasquatchChronicles.com. Definitely check it out. The blog is amazing. It's full of great stories that don't always get made into episodes. And so you can read all of those accounts people send in as well as awesome other links to other shows, including ours. Sometimes we appear on the blog there. Special thanks, Mr. Westgermer, for making us part of your family. What are you doing?
I'm doing what Barbara said.
What?
Take more deep breaths.
Oh, for oxygen? Yeah. Oxygenate that gray matter. All right. Sasquatch Chronicles blog, June 26th. We saw the creature and it was gigantic. A listener writes, I was 10 or 11 when it came up behind our house.
That would be gigantic.
Yeah, everything's gigantic when you're 10 or 11. I was in my bed and the window was open above my head. My mother was in the bathroom just finishing a shower and the bathroom window was open as well. The bathroom was next to my bedroom. I heard something walking outside and that sounded like a man walking, breaking sticks and crunching leaves as it walked. It came close enough to my bedroom window that I could hear it was breathing. It was a raspy, deep, guttural breathing, and not only an exhale, but also on inhale. I became frozen in place, terrified out of my mind, just paralyzed with fear. I couldn't speak or scream or move or anything. I'm not even sure I was breathing. My mom came running out of the bathroom yelling at me to get out of bed. I couldn't answer her, and I could hear the fear in her voice. She managed to come into my room and grab my leg and jerk on me while she avoided looking at the window. I guess that broke my paralysis, and she managed to half drag me out of the bed, and we ran into the hallway. Just as we were trying to explain to my grandmother what was happening, something hit the back of the house really hard. It shook the whole house. My grandmother got her gun, and we huddled together in the kitchen. The kitchen had a small window, not really big enough to see anything out of that might be in the backyard, so we eased our way back into the dining room where a larger window was. At this time, they were thinking someone was trying to break into the house, maybe knowing only two women and a young girl were there. We tried to look out the big window, but it was pitch black and we couldn't see anything, which didn't make sense because there was always a light on out by the driveway that would illuminate the back and the front yard at least a little all the time. As my grandmother and mom were commenting on that, something moved away from the window sideways. Oh. And at that moment, we all realized we couldn't see anything out the window because this huge hairy thing was standing in front of it, blocking the entire window. Now just imagine that feeling. We're freaking out. And even thinking back on this gives me chills every time I tell this to anyone. This big hairy thing was inches from our faces, and we had no idea. Anyway, as it moved from the center to the left of the window back towards my bedroom, we saw that it was gigantic and covered in brown hair. I don't remember the remainder of the night except that I slept in my mother's room, and the following day we moved my bed away from the window to the other side of the room.
Hell yeah.
The breathing I will never forget. It has left a scar on me since that night. I guess it is a form of childhood PTSD, though that term didn't even exist back then, and I never want to be in that close again. Mm-hmm. But I got to know exactly what that was, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
The breathing comes up a lot, even in the Albert Osmond story where he was kidnapped. He was being carried in his sleeping bag full of his gear and stuff, and he talked about the breathing. It sounded like it was gasping for breath all the time, like as it was carrying him over these mountains for hours. He was being carried for like 3 hours, and he was in the sleeping bag, just stuck in the bottom,
right?
And there's nothing he could do. He just kind of stuck there. But
like a bad kid in a Krampus sock.
Right? Yeah, that's a great analogy, right?
Right.
Maybe that's where some of that stuff comes from, like the, just the idea.
According to Thomas Seward, yeah.
Yeah, the Zunaqua.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, it's crazy, but the breathing does come up. They always sound like they're raspy, gasping for breath, but it's just maybe that's how they breathe. That Lord knows they got a lung capacity that's huge, so I'm sure they can suck in a bunch of air. But that's a great story. I'm glad it was only a one-off, though. That would be terrifying if it was repeated behavior. But that thing was already there many times, and they just didn't know it. But it's weird how the kid was frozen. Was it a fear frozen, or is it something else that was going on there?
Was it like infrasound?
Yeah, was she zapped? Like yeah, that's a good point. So that's the first one up from Sasquatch Chronicles. What are we at for time?
We got about 15 minutes.
It's 8:32.
Oh, it's 8:32. Because when I looked, it was 8:27. So obviously, my time was,
We're in Don time.
I'm expanded.
There's lots of different timelines in the portal. All right, let's get to the next one. This is from the Sasquatch Chronicles blog, and this is actually a show. If you want to check out the full version of the show, this is a long story, and it's a lot of big paragraphs. I like the stories that break it up into smaller paragraphs just for reading. But this is the Georgia Sasquatch is the show name, and it's now available on SasquatchChronicles.com and anywhere you get Sasquatch Chronicles podcast. It says, a listener writes, the first encounter, I was 9 years old and I lived with my mother in a neighborhood, and the part of the neighborhood that we lived in was on the back side and behind the house. We shared a heavily forested area that was behind chain link fences, and I always had a weird feeling about these woods as long as we'd lived there. And I hunted all the time with my grandfather there. There was just something about these woods that screamed, stay the hell off the fence. Or out of here. Sorry, I don't know how I got out of the fence. But anyway, that's how my brain's working tonight. The day of the encounter, me and my childhood friend that lived next door, Franklin, had gathered a bunch of random junk from both of our backyards, and we put together a little fort. I guess you could call it. We were sitting there like kings of the castle in our little fort we had built, and we heard these overwhelming, like stomping footsteps coming from the woods. We both began watching to see what it was, and well, a white-tailed deer came barreling out, but the thing about it was that the footsteps we were hearing did not match the pace of the deer. And then this is what got me. Something I'm assuming was, thinking back, was roughly 7.5 feet tall. Long reddish-brown hair came literally steps behind the deer. And I mean, it was mind-blowing as a young boy to see this, and at the time, I had no idea what Bigfoot was, and the details that I remember, that really blew my mind was that we had about a 50-foot of fence line that separated our yard from these woods, and it seemed like it took 3, maybe 4 strides of this thing to get from fence post to fence post. And this was a chain link fence, by the way, and the actual sighting of this thing didn't really bother me. It was the noises it was letting out, like pure rage as it was chasing down this deer.
Yeah.
And it was these angry, desperate, hungry grunts that I can still hear in my head. This whole instance happened very quickly, and me and Franklin just kind of look at each other, and we're like, yeah, time to head out. And I never played in that backyard again. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Second encounter again was in West Georgia, but not the same woods. I was 16 and I was hunting with my uncle. I was in a deer stand about 20 feet off the ground, and my uncle was in a blind about 100 yards to my right. It was a relatively slow morning, no squirrels, no birds, nothing. And this was very strange for the area we were hunting in. It was usually a very active with the wildlife, and it was, I guess, about 9 a.m., and I heard these same footsteps coming from my right. If I could guess a distance, I would say probably about 100 yards. And the thumps of these footsteps literally brought back the memory of the first encounter. It was so large, and you could just tell the mass from how it shook the earth from its footsteps. And at this point, it's almost like drums because it is constantly boom, 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 boom. I mean, whatever it was hauling butt, hauling butt through these woods. And where I was sitting was a patch of white oaks between 2 pine thickets. And I never saw anything this time, but I know what it was from the sound it let out. The footsteps abruptly stopped, like on a dime, almost. And then after it stopped, I heard what sounded like a dog barking, and that continued. And at this point, the sound of the footsteps had made it to my left side, closer to my uncle, and this I will never forget. This scream, this unforgettable freaking scream, man-like a scream someone would let out if they were mad about something, and it came from where my uncle was. So at that point, I'm like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? And I hear my uncle start yelling, and I hear a gunshot at that point.
Whoops. And
I'm like, okay, it's time. I have to do something. I literally slide down the ladder of my deer stand and just haul tail to where I'm hearing everything. And I get over there, and he's like a sheet of paper and has a full-grown white German Shepherd like trying to get in his pocket as he was just staring off into the woods like he'd just seen Jesus come back. Man, and this dog is, like I said, trying to get in his skin. And I kept saying, Johnny, what the hell happened over here? Over and over, and I walked up and shook him by the arm, and he snapped out of it, and he looked at me in the eyes and said, please tell me you saw what that thing. And I told him I heard it running over, but I didn't see anything. He stammered his words, and a tear rolled down his face, and he said, we got to go. So we ran about a quarter mile back up the hill to his house, and he stopped me and said, Brian, don't tell anyone in here about what just happened. He said they are younger than you and they won't understand. It will just make them scared to be here, but I think I just saw a Bigfoot. I asked him, well, did you shoot at it? And he said, I shot at the ground because it was walking towards me, trying to get that damn dog. And he started screaming, not in an attempt to scare it, but he feared for his life. As for the dog, we called the number on the collar, and the dog actually lived about 6 miles from where we were.
Oh, so it wasn't their dog?
No, it wasn't their dog. It was chasing the dog. And didn't tell the owners about what was chasing it, but the owners did say that he was a very mean dog and didn't let anyone pet or touch him. So they didn't understand why he was literally glued to our side the whole time until they got there. Wow.
That's crazy.
That's a crazy story. Yeah. It was after that dog. It was like lunch.
And when the uncle was saying, it was just coming after the dog. It wasn't me. He was after the dog.
Yeah.
The dog's trying to get in his pocket. Yeah. I actually had a dog that would do that when it thundered and rained. He'd jump between my bed, my mattress, and my box spring, and he'd literally push me off the bed. Diego, yeah, crazy dog.
Oh, he's a powerful dog.
Yeah,
too.
he was strong.
So third and most intense encounter. Wow, there's more intense than that. This is when I was 18 years old, and I was hunting by myself behind my grandfather's house in, again, West Georgia. I was sitting on the ground, and it was a very normal morning. Birds were chirping. Like I said, everything normal. I had a small buck pass me about daylight that morning, and the area I was sitting on was on a hill that was in the middle of a pine thicket. And the hill went down to a creek that had another hill. And at the top of this hill was an old railroad tracks. Well, I passed that small buck because I was doe only that day. And I sat there for about another hour. And a good-sized mama doe walked out from behind about 45 feet to my left. And she walked down the hill. And she was upwind from me. So I knew she was going to bust me. So I decided to pull up my rifle. And as I did, the butt of the rifle caught on my mesh blanket I had on my lap, and the doe, she blew at me. And if you're a hunter, you'll know what I mean by that. And she threw that tail up and ran up towards the railroad track. Yep. Well, she blew a few more times, as they will when they bust you. And then I heard her direction change back towards me. And this is the part that is just unreal, I think he meant. She ran directly back at me and laid down about 3 feet away from my feet and did not look at me. She just looked back towards the tracks, and I heard this sound that my chest hurt, like a deep growl, and my heart was already pounding from the deer laying down at my feet pretty much. And at this point, after I heard the growl, I heard the footstep, and I saw it stepped down over the hill from the railroad track. And the doe scooted closer to my feet, and I'm literally shaking to the point of I'm about to die. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything but stare at this creature. And it was massive, man, like at least 7 to 8 feet tall. And its face was so mean, looking like he was angry that this had happened. And he stepped down into the creek and stepped out. And at this point, it was 20 feet away. It was just looking at me in my eyes and letting out these gusts of air from its nostrils. And it was moving the hairs on its face. And it looked at me, and I could see its chest taking in air, and it roared at me. And this roar lasted, it had to have been 10 seconds. And at this point, I couldn't breathe.
Probably pooped himself.
I could not do anything but just prepare to die in a blunt way of putting it. And to this day, I feel bad, but I snapped back into reality, and I pulled my gun and put it to this deer's head and shot it without missing a beat. I ran as fast as I could back to my pawpaw's house, and I left my gun and all my other stuff in the woods. And I told him about what happened, and he refused to believe. We got 2 more guns and went back into the woods to get my gun and things back. And I get there, and the doe, my lunchbox were gone, and my rifle had been smashed against the tree. It was sitting against, and my scope was broken. I've not been hunting since, and it's been almost 5 years since this happened.
Wow.
This was by far the most scary thing that has happened to me.
No doubt.
Wow. So the doe actually was like, oh, you're a hunter. Screw you. I'm out of here. And it was like, oh, wait.
I'm scared of them more.
Yeah. Whatever was over there, it was more terrified of, to the point that it forgot about its fear of men.
Right, yeah. And then he shot it.
And then he was like, okay.
Here, Mr. Sasquatch, here's lunch.
Hey, look, I prepared dinner. Yeah.
It's dead and warm. That's all you need.
And then it took it. I mean, it took it. So, I mean, I was like, dang right, time to pay the rent.
Brenda Joe says I would have sharked my pantaloons.
Oh, yeah, there's no question. I mean,
just info.
Yeah.
His cat is having kittens.
I'm taking some pictures and video. It's the best way for me to share the pics and vids and the story with you.
Yeah.
That's if you're in the Discord there, I guess, or you see if they'll email if it's not too big. Yeah, you got to name one of them Don though.
And well, he's already been told one has to be named Don and one has to be named Brent. So.
Aw, and a Sheldon, I suppose.
And Sheldon.
There's 3 boys you can name: one Brent, Don, and Sheldon.
James Fedeke says, yeah, I froze up for a second until I started to run for my life. But when it got close and roared, I never heard anything like it. So there's more of that story that I have obviously missed.
Yeah.
So that would be an interesting one to hear.
Yeah. James did a couple of podcasts with us. I think we did 3 total. One was split into 2.
Oh,
And the next one he came back and we recorded some more.
That's right.
Yep. So we've done that. Had some great talks with James.
Cool.
How are we doing for time?
I have no idea because apparently I can't tell time. It is now 8:45.
8:45. Man, we got time for another. One more for the road.
Shortly.
I think we got time for this one. This is Strange Encounter at Fort Hood. What is this? What is the soundbite? Oh, okay, so it's recorded as well. All right, so this is a shorter one. This one should be no problem. This one's from June 23rd. Wes had some stories that were submitted by Tales from the Grid Square as well that we read on the last show.
Right.
And this one is Strange Encounters from Fort Hood. I don't think these are Tales from the Grid Square, but this is episode 965, so this is also another one that's out there, folks. But this is when Wes was talking to Matt, and then in Matt's original email, he wrote, I'm originally from Wasatch Front in northern Utah and grew up with Bigfoot stories and a few interesting encounters as a kid. However, I served 11 years in the U.S. Army as an infantryman ranger. In August 2002, I had a strange encounter during my guard duty. It behaved similar to a Bigfoot, however, it didn't. I was an NCO and was in charge of a 3-man guard detail guarding ammunition for a live fire range. The story's a long one as it stalked us and encircled us all night. I do not believe it was a Bigfoot, and I have been researching what it could have been for over 20 years. I'd already been to Afghanistan at this time, and this may have been one of the most frightening moments of my life, and I don't scare easily. However, one of your episodes talks about a creature that was nearly cloaked, and I believe that's what it may have been. And he said he spoke to the witness, and he said, we're preparing to go to Iraq. We set up an AHA, which is an ammunition holding area, and I was relieving this NCO, and he said coyotes were circling him all night, and he did not sleep at all night. I thought it was strange. He went into describing what happened that night, and that he was at the AHA area. I should just say the AHA. The acronyms. It's a long encounter, but it was a strange night. The witness describes the forest going silent, no insects, nothing. We had stuff that was taken from our staging areas. I walked into a cold spot. There was footsteps walking straight towards me. One of the infantrymen kept saying, oh, blank, whatever it was, went into the thicket. Well, I stopped and a rock was thrown at me, a very large rock. And I'm thinking someone was messing with us, and this thing circled us for 2 hours that night. I could not figure out what it was. So if you want to hear that one, head over to Sasquatch Chronicles blog and hear all the details. Episode 965, Strange Encounter at Fort Hood, 2002. Wow, that's pretty epic. So let's see, what do we got left? We got 48. Yeah, we're still got 12 minutes, Don. We can do a lot in 12 minutes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, we can do this one. All right, Something Throwing Rocks, June 21st, Sasquatch Chronicles blog. A listener writes, my story is short and probably insignificant, but I'll share it with you. It was either late summer or early fall in 2010. I was moving from Missouri to California to live with my then boyfriend. We're driving through Arizona and my car broke down. Oh, that's horrible. My best friend lives in Casa Grande, Arizona, so I ended up staying with her while my car was getting fixed. She lived just outside of Casa Grande, near I-10 in a mobile home, and had maybe 4 neighbors. It was very isolated and rural. Well, anyway, my second night there, I stayed up late, and around 2 a.m., I decided to call my boyfriend, Steven, and go out her back door to have a cigarette, because it was a mobile home and it had steps right outside the door. I stood on the top step smoking and talking on the phone. Sorry, I got a cough. Maybe 5 minutes into my conversation, I looked in the direction of where the floodlights lit up in her backyard and saw a huge rock coming right in my direction. It landed at the bottom of the steps right at my feet. I was very startled and immediately started looking to see who threw this rock at me. and saw no one. I heard nothing and saw nothing, but knew I wasn't alone. The rock was good sized, and at the distance and force it was thrown, it would have been difficult for the average man to throw it at me. I got scared and immediately went back inside the house. My boyfriend said moon rock, but it was granite, which was common to the landscape of the area. My best friend said the same thing when I told her in the morning what happened, and when I Googled rocks thrown, of course, Bigfoot came up. And that's when I became interested in Sasquatch. Yeah, it's weird. The rock throwing is, it's a lot of things can throw rocks, like people. It could be a people, but maybe not. But could it be a spiritual thing? Many people are pelted by rocks during investigations or items, or have things thrown. I shouldn't say people are pelted. Sometimes people are hit by things thrown at them, but I think you've got to really antagonize the spirit to get that kind of reaction.
Yeah.
But, is it necessarily a Bigfoot? No. But I got to admit, it'd be my first candidate. Wouldn't it be yours, Don?
That would be, yeah. That would be.
It's like, well, rock threw at me. That's it, Bigfoot. I don't know. That's strange. And why? Who knows? Is it counting coup? Is it a young one, Don?
Who knows?
Right. Those are the questions. But anyway, cool story. And there isn't really any insignificant stories.
Yeah, no.
I don't think every story has to be fantastically Hollywood and full of all kinds of amazing cliffhanging moments there.
But you know what they do is they provide a context of where geographically these things happen. And so you can put it in context with other stories in the area.
Yeah.
And start putting a narration together for it, or some kind of a the thing.
Right. Well, I think it's fantastic, but there is no doubt these things are everywhere. Mm-hmm. There is no doubt, and I really wish you guys could have been at the conference, because listening to Cliff Barrickman talk, listening to Ken Gerhard, listening to Michael Freeman, listening to Jeff Meldrum and Charles Howard Johnson and.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael from Alaska, what was his name? Thompson, thank you. Yeah, again, names. It's my Achilles heel.
Boreal Sasquatch.
Yeah, Boreal Sasquatch, yeah. And he's someone we're going to be talking to.
That'd be great.
As well. I'd love to have him on, because he had some fantastic stories. Yeah. Also about, like, little people up there and stuff. He had just a whole host of...
and Q talks about the little people up there occasionally when he's not banned from YouTube. Or Facebook, for that matter.
Yeah. But there's a lot of things going on up there in Alaska, there's no doubt. But I don't think it's unique to Alaska, but they seem to just have less people up there. So
right, and they seem to be more aggressive up there, too.
They do,
yeah.
And maybe that's why. Maybe because they don't run into people as often, because there's less population up there. Maybe when they do see people, it's like, get the hell out, this is my land. But anyway, I don't know. It's been great to be back, though.
Yep.
Did you enjoy it, Don?
I did, yeah. It was great. It's just always great. Like I said, it's such an honor and a treat to be able to hang out with these people, before and, hang out with them afterwards and just sit down and get to know them, because, they're always talking shop, and they want to, it's just kind of special to be kind of an insider in that case. So it was awesome.
Sure.
And you said somebody asked if Sheldon enjoyed himself too.
Yeah, no, Sheldon had a great time.
Yeah,
Sheldon had a blast. He was talking about how cool of an experience that was, and that was his first foray into all of this, other than being on the shows. So I think he had a blast, and he really enjoyed himself.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So how did you feel? What was your how did you view meeting the first few people that we met? Who were the first people we met? Was it at no, it wasn't at the Roundup.
Probably Karen Alberding was probably the first people we met at.
Well, no, I mean when you met, Karen, hi Karen, by the way.
Yeah.
She said she was sick during that weekend.
Aw.
She was at Medellin Falls though, unfortunately. So but no, I mean, but when we started meeting these people, like the Jeff.
At the show.
Yeah, at any show, when because we've met Russ and we've met Ken and we've met what was when you finally got to meet these people, what was your reaction?
Oh, I thought the cool thing is that the most pleasant part of it is that so many of these people that, as many as I've met, they really are the people that you see on their platforms. Like Cliff is very Cliff.
Yes,
I mean,
he is.
He's very, very methodical and very deliberate in what he says and does. And he's and obviously an incredibly intelligent guy and very, very deliberate in his deliveries and stuff. And he was that way just casually as well. Yep. Very, very cordial and nice. But like Jeff Meldrum, he's a professor and he talks and he likes to talk and he has a lot of phenomenal things to share. And just such a wellspring of information. I like talking to Michael Freeman. Mm-hmm. Michael, I didn't know. He was kind of an unknown to me, other than having seen him on a few other shows that he's appeared on.
Right.
But to sit and talk to the guy, what a great guy. I mean, just wonderful. Meeting Wes was a highlight for me.
Yeah.
Personally, back in Vernal,
yep.
when we actually, because I've known Wes for years, but, to have the chance to meet face to face was incredible.
Right.
So,
but then you had the big bucket list number.
What's that?
Bob.
Oh, Bob. Yeah.
So, but I mean, how did you feel when you first got to start meeting these people?
Oh,
were you like as like fanboying or?
Sure, a little bit. I guess, I mean, I guess to a degree, but it was just it wears off quick when you realize that these people are just wonderful people doing something that they love,
Right.
And so you still feel like it's really a great experience and very, very incredible to have the chance to put personalities to the personalities,
Right.
because everybody has a personality that they show. But when you get a chance to hang out and talk and just BS with people,
Yep.
and you realize that, they really are those people. And that's what made it fun.
Right.
Because you just never know. I'm actually generally pretty awkward in social situations.
Me too, actually. Yep.
I am.
I'll say, you think I say weird shit now?
I'm surprised you said weird blank now. But yeah, I mean, it's just that it's been fun to meet all of you guys. Yeah. The few people that we've met that are listeners, it's been that to me has been honestly, and it sounds cheesy, but I swear to God, it's true.
Yeah.
You guys are the ones that have been holding us up. You guys are the ones that are making this show special by showing up and being a part of it.
Oh, yes, Barbara. Yes, I certainly will be doing that.
What are you doing?
She says, so when we all meet you, you'll be cracking jokes and giggling.
I asked Chucky how that goes. Chucky and Pam had dinner with us.
Yep.
Chucky, what are we like in person?
He says, you guys are great to meet in person. Well, thank you very much.
Poor Chucky had to sit through a whole meal with us.
And then he had to listen to me just say stupid stuff.
Yeah, it happens. But I mean, we're generally the same idiots in real life as we are here on the show. It's like it doesn't get much better in person.
Sometimes it actually takes a while to get us talking too. Because sometimes I've noticed that we kind of sit back and kind of do the wallflower thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then somebody comes up like, when we were in Vernal, we had the Daniels brothers, Jaron and Roman, and they came up and they're like, oh, and Jess, of course. Jess met us there as well, and so, it kind of takes a little to get us out of our box.
Oh, yeah.
And then once that happens, and a drink or two, we're good to go.
Yeah. Where's Nampa, Idaho?
Nampa's south.
Like Boise South?
Yeah, heading that way. Yeah.
Yeah, you're about 8 hours away, John. I'm sorry. I'd love to meet you. Of course, that'd be awesome. But I can't go 8 hours. I just got home. From being across the nation.
Well, we were just talking about maybe going down there in August.
Oh, in August,
Caldwell.
yeah. But he's there visiting family from July 3rd to the 8th.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'd be a
I mean, that'd be awesome. It's one of those things.
We have to really schedule our time. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, real life and all that stuff too. Like, the real world stuff that we all have to deal with as well. But, I mean, any opportunity, if any of you guys are going to be in this area, let me know. We can meet at a coffee house and kick back, or at a crack a brew. I don't care. I'd love to meet you guys.
Absolutely.
So. If you're ever in our neck of the woods, where's your next event? Well, Don and I were just talking about that.
Right.
Actually, there's a couple. we're probably going to go to Vernal, Utah for Phenomenon.
That'd be in September.
That'll be in September. But what were we just talking about in August?
There was
one in Caldwell,
Idaho. It was I forgot.
I think I wrote it down.
Let me go back in my history here real quick. It's not doing
SquatchCon?
SquatchCon, Idaho.
Yeah, SquatchCon, Idaho was one that we just became aware of. It's a one-day event down there, but that, we may make the trip down there for that and just hang out. But that's called SquatchCon, and that's in Caldwell, Idaho. God, I don't know. I don't know for sure any other ones, although I just interviewed a gentleman from Arizona, Tombstone, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. And there's a Tombstone Paracon that's going on in April of next year, and we're planning on going down to that. So, yep. So I don't know. We don't do a lot of that because, it's all about
cost prohibitive
logistics and cost and everything else like that. So we attend every one we can, but, hopefully we'll get to one near you as soon as we can. I don't know. We're the one beautiful thing about this is that we get the chance to have all of you here from all over. And, but we're pretty geographically isolated up here in the Pacific Inland Northwest. But as we expand and broaden out, I'd love to meet you guys. Yeah. I was just 4 hours away from Taco, he said,
right,
when I was in Minnesota. Sure. And I was like, wow, that's not too far. If I hadn't been busy with family stuff and just logistics, it would have been great to meet you, Taco. That would have been awesome. But I don't know. We'll get out there as much as we can. But, again, if any of you are in northern Idaho and find yourself near the town of Sandpoint.
Oh, who said that? No TaterCon. Who said that? Maggie. No. Wait. Where's TaterCon? Let me find that. It was Jess. Go figure.
Jess TaterCon.
TaterCon.
No, there's no TaterCon that I know of. And if there was, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't be going there.
No.
Those
are nightshades.
They are.
In this case, too much of a good thing. It can be harmful.
Wasn't me for once, Maggie said.
Right. Maggie is innocent in this situation. It's Jess. Jess is always not very innocent.
Yeah. No.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, that's about going to wrap up tonight's show. It's great to reconnect with you guys and get back here. Remember, there will be a show Friday night. Sheldon will be joining me. And then Saturday, investigating. Ooh, I got some new bells and whistles to whip out and hopefully document so much better than I have been able to in the past. Thank you to, you guys for helping out to make that happen because I couldn't do it on my own. So I've been buying gear and things that'll help with the investigations. And of course, Charles has a whole chest full of things as well. So between the two of us, we should have a pretty robust investigation. I will stream some from Saturday night at the hotel that we're investigating in Spokane, Washington. So, but again, I'm going to do a member stream for all of you members. If you want to stay up late with me, we'll do some ghost investigating live if I can manage to work out the logistics of it. No promises, but at the very least, I'll stream live, but I'm planning on doing a member stream with some investigating so you guys can be a part of that at the hotel. So
to be a member, it's when your name's green in YouTube. It'll notify you when he goes live for members only. So the only way you're going to get that is it is a $2.99 a month thing. Right. But as he said, he's going to put together some investigation videos that he'll release later just to the basic YouTube.
And that'll include all
first, you gotta be a member.
To see it live, you gotta be a member for that. But everybody will get a chance to see it because I don't want to just isolate one group of you guys. I love you all and I want to bring you all the best I can. So anyway, love you guys. Don, anything in closing?
Don't forget to get Portal gear. Go to Teespring, our Teespring store, link in the bottom.
It's linked in the description, so if you want to check that out. And I'll be back Friday night with Sheldon. And remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice, take care of each other, help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. And we'll be back on Friday.
Yay.
So until then, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Watch these new credits. They look a lot like the old credits because it's the same template.
It's the same as the old?
Yeah, pretty much. But I just changed some of the words. Took me a few hours, though.
That's kind of like me in singing. I changed the words because they sang it wrong.
Yeah, of course. All right. Good night, everybody.